Hey everyone, it's Pfeifer again. Thank you for checking out the second video in my Buyer's Cheat Sheet video series. On this video I'm going to cover choosing a lender, getting pre-approved, and the home search process. So after you saw my first video, I'm sure you've gone through all the steps to find a good agent, a really rock-solid agent based on the qualification questions I gave you. So once you've done that, this agent will have and should have a list of 3 professional, very competent lenders, preferably from 3 different companies. Now 3 is just a number, obviously it can go higher, but you want at least 3. So you ask this agent for their lender information, and you go through the same steps pretty much as you did with the agent in the pre-qualification process. You're going to want to ask them for a list of past clients, and you're going to want to call these clients. And if they're a little hesitant to give you this list, probably not going to work out. You want somebody that's completely above board and somebody who's going to be completely honest with you. The next step is getting pre-approved by this lender of your choice. So when you do that, you're going to be handing over all kinds of private information, social security number, payroll information, how much you make per year, your expenses, your debt, all of that fun stuff. So it's gonna be kind of a release of sorts, because you're taught to keep all that information private. There's no need for anybody to know that, but this is one exception with your lender. So you're going to want to go through several scenarios with your lender, what the type of loan you want. There's a 30-year fix, there's the ARMs. I personally like to tell my clients to stick with a 30-year fix just because of everything that's happened with them in the very recent past. However, your situation may be different, and you may choose to go a different route based on your circumstances. The lender, if it's a good lender, is going to put you through different scenarios. For example, this is what your monthly payment would be with a 5-year ARM, this is what your monthly payment would be with a 30-year fixed, and so on. Now, if you do decide on a 30-year fixed, for example, you're going to want to, assuming you have the option, play with different sizes of down payments. For example, if you can afford to do 10% down payment, then you can see what your monthly payment will be. But if you can afford to do 20% or higher, you can kind of ratchet it up and down and see exactly what you're going to be paying per month and how that cash difference matters to your monthly payment, to your cash flow, if you will. So one thing to remember, and unfortunately agents don't stress this enough, is just because you're approved for a certain purchase price doesn't mean you have to borrow that amount. Lenders can be aggressive at times, and depending on the factors involved and how the loan market is, these days it's not as willy-nilly as it once was. The lenders can pre-approve you for, let's say, a $500,000 loan. If you're not feeling too comfortable with what the resulting monthly payment is, then maybe you don't want to buy a $500,000 house. You need to make sure that you're comfortable, is my point. Also, when you get the payment information, how much you're going to be paying per month, you want to make sure to add, if it's not already included, the HOA fees if applicable, property taxes and insurance, the insurance estimate. Of course, you're going to want to talk to your personal insurer about that, about whether it's homeowner's insurance, condo insurance, whatever it may be. One really helpful tip, according to my clients, is working your way backwards through the loan approval process. What this means is, instead of deciding, I want to buy a $500,000 house, how much is that going to cost me? You decide, I feel comfortable paying a maximum of $2,500 a month, for example. What sort of house, what sort of purchase price will that achieve for me? And this way you can organically see how much home you can sensibly afford, and you can pretty much guarantee you won't be getting in over your head. So that's a really great way to approach it. You basically tell the lender, this is what I want to pay, how much home will this buy for me? Then you go to your agent and you discuss all of the homes and the criteria that may change as a result of your new purchase price. And you find 2, 3, maybe 4 homes, depending on the inventory and how particular you are, that may work, and you go into what I like to call the deep research phase of the home buying process. So the first part of that is the schools. You're going to want to go to the schools that the home will go to. If your child lives in that home, it will go to school A, for example. You're going to want to go to school A, talk to the staff, check the scores for school A. And this is also important even if you don't have kids, have grown kids that are not going to be attending elementary, middle, high schools in the area, or not planning on having kids. This is going to be important because resale. At some point, you're probably going to want to sell the house or perhaps even rent it, and good schools are going to be good for that. They're going to affect the desirability and either the rent amount you're going to get or the resale amount you're going to get. So it will affect you even if you don't have kids. The second phase of the deep research portion of the home buying process relates to the San Diego County Crime Maps website. When you log onto the San Diego County Crime Maps website, you can look at any specific address in San Diego County or even zip code if you so choose, and look at all of the reported crime during a period of a maximum of 3 months. So you can really get a good quantitative sense as to how safe an area is. If you're looking for a more qualitative take on it, you can drive through an area that you're interested in at night. Now, if you're driving around slowly and something doesn't feel right, maybe the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up, it's probably not a good match for you. If you get out of your car and you walk around and you don't feel like you need to be looking over your shoulder every couple minutes, then maybe it's a good match for you. Another thing you want to check as it pertains to websites is the Megan's Law website. What the Megan's Law website does in California is it lets you know how many sexual offenders are in a given area. Now, the reason for checking this is not just curiosity if you don't have kids, but also to see what other people are going to be seeing once they purchase a property from you or rent a property from you in the future, because these people will be looking at this, so you should be aware of any potential issues if there's a large concentration of these people in your prospective area. Another thing you want to do, if you're moving to a different part of town or direction-wise different from where your job is, for example, if you've lived north of downtown San Diego and now you're moving south of downtown San Diego, you want to do a dry run commute and see how that affects your commute time. Maybe you've moved you're halfway closer to your work. It was 20 miles, now it's 10 miles, but it takes you twice as long to get there. It can happen depending on where you are in certain parts of San Diego. So that's something you want to think about. Do a dry run commute, leave your house, your prospective house / area at the time you think you should leave, and just clock and see how long it takes you on an average day. Maybe do it throughout the week because, as we all know, traffic can vary throughout the week. One last thing, if you really want to get deep into it, is talk to your future neighbors. You want to get a gauge to why they like the neighborhood, what they don't like about the neighborhood. Ask them about HOA issues. They are excellent sources of information as pertains to homeowners, insurance, not insurance actually, homeowner association issues that may not be apparent through reading the flowery, really nice listing info on the MLS. The agent may not let you know that there's an assessment coming up, for example, or they've had problems with the sewer lines. Maybe there's tree roots in them. The neighbors are the ones in the know. So it does pay to take some time and talk to the neighbors in the area, and they can give you some really solid inside info and also give you a little bit of a vibe as to what kind of people live there to make sure you feel comfortable. If they're people in the same walks of life as you are, for example, they have a young family, you have a young family, great, you have a playmate, and there's just all kinds of things you can find out by talking to the neighbors.